turns around and spends the money, the manpower, it's very hard to run for campaigns. I've been running campaigns for over 40 years. You know, the former Democratic strategist for the state, I got tired of them, they left me. So I have my big friend over here somewhere, Steve Bolton, the former chairman of the Chicago GOP, recruited me with a lot of years. And every different technique, forms of getting people elected that I learned over the years, I'm going to use it against the Democratic Party.
Yes.
So, I'm going to try to set something up, and like I said, my new title with the state now is the Republican National Hispanic Committee, and our goal is to turn Illinois red. So from local councils to county commissioners to school boards to whatever. We're tired. Enough is enough. But anyways, we'll continue the program in a few minutes. I just want to say thank you. There's food, and we should begin in about 10-15 minutes. Appreciate it.
Thank you. So my name is Michael Levinsky. I'm just your average Republican politician. I've lived in Naperville since 1980. I've known Nag for about 2.5, 3 years. I want to thank you all for coming out tonight. And we're going to just do introductions of honored guests and candidates. When I say your name, if you could just please stand up, wave to the crowd, and I'll introduce the next person. First person I'm going to introduce is Mike Pierce, Lieutenant Colonel. He met Nag through support for veterans and VFW. Thank you. And Mr. Frank Avila, who is an attorney and chairman of the Illinois Commission for Honest Government. Mr. Avila. Heather Krosky, who is a trustee candidate of Bloomingdale Township. And the lovely Cheryl Fromm, who's a candidate for Village Bloomingdale Heights. Some of you have known for 2 years. Randy Happ with 2 A's. And a friend of mine for like 20, 25 years, 2-term city council member, Richard Firstenau.
Hey, Michael, 4 terms, 12 years. To 2011. Thank you.
So I'd like to reintroduce Rick Firstenau with the crowd now. Just kidding. All right, Dick, I stand corrected, and thank you for attending tonight. And also we have Will County Board Member Judy Berkowitz. And I'm going to skip the order here just a little bit. I'm going to introduce Charlie Farrell, who already introduced himself. We also have Lupe Castillo, who's a Canadian person in Chicago, candidate for the 4th Congressional District. Thank you, Lupe. And I'd like to acknowledge Dr. Reddy, the LA chair. All right, and as you know, we had anticipated LA GOP chair Kathy Sullivan being here. It's the time of the year when schedules change and events come up. So we're going to introduce Mr. Steve Bolton, who is former chairman of the Chicago Republican Party, and he's going to be our guest speaker on behalf of Kathy Sullivan.
It's kind of dangerous to do guys, my name is Steve Bolton. I was chairman of the Chicago Republican Party from 2020 to 2024. I walked in there and I said, we're not going to have the white Republican Party anymore. We're in a city that was 1/3 Hispanic, 1/3 Black, 1/3 white, and we're going to start to have a Republican Party that starts to reflect all the minorities, and they're all welcome. So as I look at this tonight, I think it's wonderful. So my point is that we did a lot of things, because what happens is that 21% of the city, the population of Illinois lives in the city of Chicago proper. 40% lives in Cook County. So all those votes, so everything's an issue when you go to Chicago. So to be long story short, we started to remake the entire Republican effort in Chicago. They said they don't do anything. Well, we're doing stuff now because we have what I call clubs, where we get groups of board committeemen together to work together. There's a Southeast Side GOP club, which is all the black committeemen down there on the South Side. There's a Southwest Side, and Lupe is now the head with Charlie running around on the Southwest Side. Which is all those Hispanic wards going down the Stevenson Expressway. There's also a North Side going up the lakefront. That's all those wards are all working together as a team to get the volunteers out, to do the events together, to start to do the canvassing together. And there's also a Northwest Side GOP club that's been there for a while under Matt Gorski, and I frankly stole the idea from him. So my point is that things are really starting to move in Chicago. We always think that's such a big weight on us, so we can't win because of Chicago. Well, look at some of the numbers. I'll tell you some of the encouraging numbers. The black vote in Chicago. The vote for Donald Trump in Chicago was 12.85% when he ran in 2016. By 2020, it was 16.8%. This time in this election in 2024, he got 20.1% of the vote in the city of Chicago proper. So that's what's changing, and it's changing in the minority communities. The black community, the vote for Donald Trump in the black majority wards, just majority wards, was up 44% from 2020 to 2024. It was, when you go to wards that are 75% or more black, it went up 66% 2020 to 2024. There are leaps and bounds going on in Illinois. So when you guys are out here in the suburbs and you're saying, geez, why are we trying? It's, we're just going to lose because of Chicago. My point is you're not going to lose because of Chicago anymore. Chicago is up, Chicago is moving, and it's going to keep moving. So all we look to you guys is just passing you the ball, and we're going, let's go in Will County, let's go in DuPage, let's go get these people. There's a real easy way to do it. Get your people out to vote. If you look at how many Republicans don't vote because it doesn't matter, we're going to lose anyway. Why would I bother? That's why you're losing. Let's get the people out. Number two, let's get great candidates like Nag and other people. Find those future leaders. Find them. They're out there. They will lead us out. And have them rise to let the cream rise to the top. Let's get the right candidates out there. Let's get the vote out there. Everyone's saying, oh, gee, it's hopeless for the Republican Party in Illinois. Nonsense. Nonsense. You go down to Ruby Red, Illinois. You go down to Southland. I talked to Rhonda Belford. She's a national committee woman, sits on the RNC for Illinois. That is Ruby Red down there. Ruby Red. So the point is, we just have to do our jobs up here, and we will win the state of Illinois. And I can tell you why. I actually got thrown off the ballot at the Chicago Board of Elections because Tony Preckwinkle, the Cook County Chairman and Board President, was so scared of the black vote and what they were seeing in those numbers, the black vote, that she had to get rid of him. So they knocked me off the ballot, so they thought they'd knock me out as chairman. I'm like, I don't need to be chairman anymore. I did it for 4 years. Now I'm working full time to promote the black vote, the Hispanic vote, with Lupe, and other people like that. So I just encourage you all to let's just go get it. I assure you, I've seen the numbers. We can win. All we need is everybody to do a little bit. So all the Republican Party is asking you to do is come with us because it's going to be great. We're going to take this state back. Thank you very much.
All right, and then we have a secret surprise guest that every candidate wishes they had a supporter that really cares about every nuance of their campaign. And I'm just going to very quietly acknowledge Sheila Jaiswal, Nag's wife. There's a husband or a wife that puts up with them during the campaign and supports them, and they should be acknowledged. So thank you, Sheila. All right. Now, is it time for Nag, Charlie, you think? Yes. All right. Now, without further ado, the man of the hour, the next Naperville City Council member from Will County, Nag Jaiswal. Thank you, Mike. You're welcome. Good evening, everyone. And thank you, Charlie. Thank you all the GOP's team, Mike, all of you, for being here. Julie, thank you for being supportive
all the way. Thank you all the committeemen who are here from the Republican Party. Thank you friends, supporters. So this race has been, what I have to say is David versus Goliath. So I contested 2 years ago, learned a lot as a council candidate. It was a non-partisan, we were 4, and we learned about me and Sheila together probably about 10,000 homes. So if you say any street, probably we would have been fighting there, putting the yard sign, arguing at the middle of the night. And I would say it's spent like this, things of that nature, right? And it came close. Again, I'm in the neighborhood for 20 plus years, but that was an experience I cannot forget. But after that, things actually went south, right? I was the candidate on the hit list, whatever you want to call it, right? I was a candidate that was not supposed to be. I was the candidate that was marked X. And my actually battle started, and this is really funny. So today Sheila asked me a question, She said, are you fighting against me or are you fighting against your 3 Republican candidates? Or are they fighting against you? And my answer was no. I'm actually fighting against all the candidates because right now we need to win. We need to make sure your voice is heard. And it is not about that, right? We need to make sure we have to turn this right. But if we have to turn this right, we can't fight within ourselves. Right? We cannot do what we have been doing in DuPage or Will County is pull the candidate down. So, anyway. So, David versus Goliath, I came in late, my signatures went in late. My submission was last day, probably an hour before the closing. People didn't like it. November 4th, a petition was filed. I didn't realize, how long that would go. That stretched into December. I was also a certified assessor, so now I had to choose. Do I go for the assessor or do I go for the council? And classic. So we did it first. So basically, what I said was to my township. Now that the legal case is pending, I don't want to withdraw. Again, when you withdraw, what's going to happen is I'm going to get a lifelong tag. Your application was a wrong application, right? You had something to hide. So I'm bound to this way, I'm not going to hide or fight. And I'm going to fight always. So we said, we are going to wait till my case is thrown out, and then I'll go fight the assessor. So long story short, I was not the assessor candidate. They found somebody. And I got the tag that I abandoned my township. I did not abandon my township. And I became the council candidate. So that's the destiny, right? And ever since I have been fighting battle. But to see this many people in the room, again, there are a lot of people from Naperville. And a lot of fundraisers have happened in the last 1 week or 10 days. And Mike always gives me a report, there are 10 people, 12 people, 16 people. So this just shows how the momentum has shifted and all of your support. There are about 100 volunteers, grassroots level that are working on this campaign. It is a miracle, right? It is a miracle. People sending pictures of yard signs at 2 a.m. in the night. Krista, so, and where I put it, or Charlie is going overtime. I'm blessed Charlie is here. He's running the campaign and fresh blood, right? This is really funny because I was running a campaign in 2021 for Park District, and Charlie was actually running a campaign for Democrats in Will County. And somebody said, hey, I didn't know where to order yard signs. That's how I know Charlie. and long story short, this man actually changed a lot of things, right? I have learned on campaigning how we have to do it. His crew is working overtime. Michael, I have to acknowledge a lot of people on this today. Michael Wisnowski, please. you need to stand up because Michael is very popular now online on different channels because he gives me, so we started releasing some of the videos with his ideas, and that has really reached a lot of places. Very popular guy. Krista, you want to stand up?
Yeah.
Krista? And then Brian? Okay, Brian has, did you have gray hairs or not yet? So I borrowed Brian at 2:30 a.m. So if anybody can work with me at 2:30 a.m., he needs to be really, thick-skinned and is lost it. He has twins, 2-year twins, and he still takes care of me. Yeah. So, there are others, we have Mike Costello, who works crazy hard. Anson, great person. Randy had all of you guys, you are wonderful team. Satish, Banu, please stand up, do it. So this man needs a big hand because with all the time he was sitting back each day, all along, he has a limited capability and he walked the full stretch.
Anything for him.
And he was so without this, there are all of you, Muji, my inspiration every day morning, I get up, honored to have mine and the support of Julie. Without Julie's support, I don't think I can challenge anybody in township. She's like a mountain Everest, right? This is my campaign, right? This is all I'm doing is with all of your support, I'm making sure all the voices. So today we just met a lot of our friends and many people. I asked them one question: do you know who your councilman is? They have no clue. Do you know who your mayor is? They don't know. Do you know what it does? So this campaign has been education. So somebody asked me, do you run for education board, school board? Because always I say, my school board and my taxes, property taxes, people just don't get it. That's because of late we have been masked and our homes have become credit cards with all the property taxes. So that's the battle that I'm fighting, is not a representation of what I want to do, because I don't own a company that derives benefit from City Hall, right? My family doesn't have any position. I was kicked out of human rights position for opening my mouth. I'm like the bird in the cage, right? If you speak, you'll be in the cage, right? So I have gone through all of it. And here come my friends, every morning they'll make sure that I have the energy. Our WhatsApp group is 560, 570 people, keeps growing. We get, tens of thousands of organic hits. We are, our digital campaign is going great, but most important is when the end result, people, kids. Yesterday there was a kid club. These are all came from college. I think 10 kids got together, went for vote.
Nice.
What more do we need?
Yes.
Right, our next generation. So they are here. They are coming from college and voting. So this election is going to be different. We need to make sure we have 3 more days. If all of you can make a call for all the students in all the colleges to do the mail-in ballot, we are going to not only win, but we are going to win with a margin that will be a history. Right? This is not a small margin. And I want all the Republicans to win. Not just me. I'm not a greedy guy. Right? Yes, I want to be on the top of the list, but I want all the 4 of us to win. Right? This is not against Republicans against Republicans, right? But if we don't do it, we are going to go back and we are going to pull Naperville. Naperville has been very successful for 200 years. Why is that? That's because some of the things that we have done, making sure our business, our safety, all of it, right? Right now it is a crossroad. we are 5-4. But if 4 win, we'll be 7-2. So that is what we all have to message our fellow contestants to. It is not a fight against each other, but it is a fight against the system to make sure we get elected. So that's all I have. Encourage, thank you all for coming. And without all of you, I won't be here.
And let's, Councilman.
Yeah.
We're gonna set this record straight. People are asking if he's getting re-endorsed by individuals. Well, we do have one Democrat here, conservative Democrat, just like a dinosaur in Cook County and Chicago. So I'd like to introduce a very old friend of mine, Attorney Frank Avila. He's also the chairman of the Illinois Committee for Honest Government. And just to let you know, this is how much he's supporting. He helped pay for a mailer going out to close to 15,000 people in Naperville. So that's how committed he is. And then I'm gonna match him, because we always do that. You know, we're gonna be doing one, I'm gonna be doing one myself also, through the Republican National Hispanic Committee. So that's how tight we are. And I think if we come in as a family, as Republicans, as conservatives, you know, because we're tight, but I can go on and on. So here's Frank Avila.
Thank you very much. My name is Frank Avila. My father was the MWRD commissioner, elected official for 20 years, top vote getter, very well known. Many of you know him here, and very well known in the Indian community also. I've been a lawyer for about 25 years, and I am legal counsel on the board of an organization called the Illinois Committee for Honest Government, started in the 1980s by Randall Sherman, who died sadly. And I've been getting calls off the hook by the Naperville Sun, the Chicago Tribune. Did you really endorse Naj? I said, yeah. But I didn't want to talk too much because I could tell it was kind of a setup. I don't know what they're doing. And I actually spoke to Raja Krishnamurti about a week ago. He did endorse Naj. I realized there's political sensitivities, Democrats, this and that. And he's running for U.S. Senate. He was just in Mexico last week with the Illinois Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. So I know that he endorsed Raj. Now, I didn't call Danny Davis yet, but everybody who was on the list is endorsing Naj, have endorsed him. So if you hear nonsense, I don't know who, I think some Democrats are doing this because they're upset because so many Democrats have endorsed Naj. And that's what I think is happening. But this is a nonpartisan race. So if you have a neighbor that's a Republican, that's fine. If you have a neighbor that's Democrat, that's fine. If you have a neighbor that's independent or green or anything else, that's fine too, because it's nonpartisan. So anybody can vote for Naj. Anybody. Okay? So we don't have to be over partisan or ideological. Also, I don't know if you've read his literature or looked at his website and his issues. His issues are very pragmatic. They're very action-oriented. They're not ideological. They're not left. They're not right. His ideas of beautification, his ideas of reducing property taxes, and his ideas of economic development. Naperville is a great city. It's amazing. But they think small on economic development. They want another restaurant, they want another small store. Not just thinking big. Now, why? Because if you have economic anchors and engines, those reduce residential property taxes. They reduce residential property taxes. The reason he has education, even though he's not on the school board, is about half of every dollar on property tax, between 47 cents to 60 cents, go to education. So that's a majority of your property tax bill. Now, some great schools in here, but some people can't access the better school, and so that's an issue. Now, I know many of you are from Naperville or are friends in Naperville, and what I want to tell you is here, we only have a small amount of time left. There's not a lot of time left. So what I need you to do is everybody has a Rolodex, everybody has their phone, everybody has social media. Everyone that you know that lives in Naperville, text them, email them, send them something on social media. If you're part of an organization, I don't care if it's a veterans organization like our fine friend here, I don't care, and he's very pro-veteran. If he wins, we're gonna discuss a plan to assist veterans in Naperville. And I think that's gonna be very, very important. And so I need each and every one of you today to take out your phones, to get on your social media, to get on your texts, to get on your emails, and email and text and send message on social media and call and talk to your neighbors. And if you have any events in church or synagogue or mosque or temple this weekend, you need to talk to your friends and your family members in Naperville, and you got to vote for Naj. I need everybody to be jumping, what was it called in Star Wars? Warp speed, right? Warp speed, or was that Star Trek, whatever it was. And we need a warp speed to election day, because election day is right around the corner. There's not going to be more time. You don't want to say, oh, I forgot to do it. I forgot to vote. I forgot to tell my mother-in-law. I forgot to tell my aunt. I forgot to tell my best friend from high school. You need to get out there and vote. A lot of election hinges on early vote, of course, mail-in ballots, of course, but also election day. And election day, and I'm sure early voting is still going on. So if you want to take some senior citizens to go to early voting, go take them this weekend, or tomorrow, or Wednesday, or Thursday, or Friday. Go drive them to early vote. Go pick people from, I don't know if you're in a business club, or a charitable club, or a fraternal club, whatever it is. Talk to people, bring them out to vote. I need everybody here to give their undivided attention to Naj until the election, so we can be there for victory. Because on election night, I want a victory, not just a victory, an outstanding victory. Because he's not just supported by Republicans, he's supported by Democrats. He's not just being supported by his own community, the Indian community, he's being supported by everybody. Hispanics, Irish, Polish, these are all Americans. I want to thank you very much. God bless all of you. And I want to say, everybody shout, Naj, 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 Naj.
Good evening, everyone. It's so good to see you here to support our dear friend Nag. What I want to say is, you all know that I'm a Will County Board member and a Forest Preserve Commissioner. I have a 4-year term. I was just reelected in November. Again, to represent my community, my neighbors, my family, the people that surround me, and the people that live in Will County from Naperville and Aurora all the way to the southern border. We are Will County, and when I support Nag, I support an individual that I know is going to represent me at Naperville, and he's going to represent every person that calls Naperville home. He's going to represent our businesses, our property owners, all the people who create taxes, all the people who provide services. These are all segments of our population. Nag, he's also someone who will ask questions, and he will grow, and he will always strive to do more. That's also, I can't even tell you what that's worth. It's incredible. And that, as a team member, when you're on a city council or you're a county board member, you should be a team. Whether there's 2 caucuses or not, when you're in that room, you should be working together. And I see Nag doing that. He's making us a promise to go there and put his best foot forward every day. And if he takes a step back, he goes forward 2 more steps. That's what we need. Life has its challenges. We just need to realize that we continue to build on that. We build on it together. And, you know, the hard periods are what makes everything else much more blessed. Isn't that right? It makes things worth so much more. So I think that Nag has perseverance, and he also has respect, and he's a very kind person. And we all know how difficult campaigns can be. We know how terrible things can turn. And he has been very respectful, and he has focused on the principle, what it is all about. And that is called good character. So I'm very proud of Nag as a candidate, and I'm looking forward to him being on Naperville City Council to represent us and to represent every person. And then we'll make Naperville better and better. So thank you, Nag.
Thank you, Julie. So I have two more. So I will invite, very young leader here, Aryan Court. Yeah.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Aryan Kaur. These are some reasons why Nag wouldn't be the best city council member for Naperville. Number one, Naperville is a beautiful city, and we need a beautiful leader for it, so he qualifies for that. The second reason why Nag should be on the city council board is because he wants to make Naperville agree about leading the Midwest with safer options. So Nag qualifies with that too. And my final reason why Nag should be on the city council board the city council board, is because if he isn't, I will personally come after the board.
So I'm so honored to support Nag Jaiswal. I have known Nag for many years. As Frank was saying, Nag is so passionate. I had seen him for so many years. He's so passionate about neighborhood issues. One of the things that, when people run for local politics like city or council, it's not the partisan-based politics. It's not the Democrat or Republican. It is the candidate who could come in for the issues of the neighborhood. Most important thing is, you have to see the candidate who could come in for this, safeguard the communities in terms of safety and security. The times have changed. We all know we are in the midst of challenging times. The stakes could be higher to pick a candidate who is hardworking, passionate for the neighborhood issues, visionary. I have seen him. His work ethic is amazing. His demeanor, his credibility in the community. One thing that I could say, and somebody else said it too, he is not afraid to say, he is not afraid to fight. And I had seen him, he goes after it. There are some issues that happened in Naperville. He was there, he stood for the community. That's what you gotta look for a candidate. And I think Nag has all the qualities to be the next Naperville City Council, who can work very hard. He's got the vision for the city, and then he could make things happen. You could see there were some Democrats, I saw just Democrats here, Republicans are here. So he's not afraid to cross the aisle and get the things done. That's what you need. So let's all support him. Let's make sure that he gets elected next week to be on the city council. Thank you.
So for the record, if anybody wants to record, so Raja and I have been on so many different causes working together, for the community. So it is like telling, I don't want to stereotype, but asking whether, a Jewish member or a Muslim member or a Hindu member, oh, which party are you in? Because, everything said and done, family is family, right? Parties are just your ideologies. You go out, practice, go home, then it's your family, right? We're all family. Like whoever is here, either we have our same mindset or we have the same values, shared values. So if anybody says this guy didn't endorse, that guy didn't endorse, I think, that's just too partisan. And then Cook County, we are all there. So many of my friends together doing turkeys and Christmas gifts and everything for all the people who need it. So I think we are just being targeted. So anyway, thank you so much. Sunil Shah is our Federation of Indian Association chair. Sorry, not president, chair. And he's been there for the community.
Thank you, Nag. First, I'd like to wish all the candidates present over here the very best. I would say this is the last leg of the election, and we are pretty much excited for Nag. I would say he's one of the very deserving and eligible candidates, and I would say the victory part is already begun, right? And Naperville is a big city, and we need a big guy. And here is Nag Jaiswal, the big guy with a heart, big guy with a mind, and big guy with a passion, and big guy with a spirit. Go ahead.
Thank you, Sunil. Thank you, everyone. I didn't understand your question because I was tricked on it. Okay, thank you. So there is something called 501c3. I don't know, but I think being the first generation Indians, we are always scared of the 501c3. So we always say, when we go to the temple, we cannot preach elections, which is true, right? If you go to church also, you cannot. But there you can always go out and stand there and you can meet people, greet people who you are. I do, but very subtly I have to do it. I cannot do it, But I think that is the best place because we have so many religious centers. Just showing up there and meeting people and introducing yourself is the biggest thing.
So you'll support that?
I absolutely support. I go to Baptist temple, I go to ISKCON temple, I go to Aurora temple, I go to Lemon temple, Golconda. All my friends here call me. I mean, my TAGC friends call me, Cheetah friends call me, CAA friends call me, Babs guys call me, Art of the Living calls me, ISKCON people call me. Muslim gives me all the inputs for how to deal with the ICN and everybody else. So my Muslim friends call me. In fact, today morning I got messages from my Muslim friends. Hey, welcome next councilman, right? So I have reached out to every single person. And the only way you can do is you have to show up there. It doesn't matter. But as a Hindu candidate, you should not, right? I mean, Siro Malabar, Terence. So Siro Malabar has a big presence, right? I go there, I stand, and I'm loving my life. Oh, absolutely. I'm going to support all Hindus, but everybody, yeah. Thank you.
So if I understood correctly, the question was, how do we get Hindus involved, et cetera, et cetera. So kind of along those lines, in the same vein, really what I wanted to come up here and say is that, as a second generation Indian American who grew up here her entire life, and I'm just going to say I basically am a Democrat, so I'm going to say that out loud. Sorry, but why not? And I would rather be transparent about it, but why would I vote for Nag is the real question. The answer will be more powerful than me telling you that I'm a Democrat. So the real reason is because, I don't even know him for very long on a personal level, but the reason I'm here is because I found his values to be aligned with mine. Okay, so it doesn't matter if I'm a Democrat or a Republican. I share values with the Republican Party, I share values with the Democratic Party, but perhaps more often than not, I lean left of the center, but I'm not really too much past the center. My point being that I found our conversations over the last, 1 year or so to be very, very enlightening, insightful, thoughtful, meaningful, and that's why I'm here. And that's what I wanted to point out. So, getting back to the question about how do we involve more Indians, let me just say Indian instead of Hindus, let me say Indian. The way is going to be to get the second generation vote. You can't just target this generation. You gotta target people like me as well, and you, right? So in order to do that, you have to get more of the second generations into your fold. And in order to do that, outreach. So outreach will happen through people like you and I, who are second generation. So that's really the answer to your question. It's you, not him, who's going to bring the rest of the Indians, the second generations into the community. Oh, that's what I'm going to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Radhika.